So I guess I'll go ahead and get started, Kassar.
Yeah, you can start.
So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to an adapted seated yoga practice. So for today's chair yoga practice, everything that we do will be done seated in a chair. And I think you'll be quite amazed how we can do seated in a chair in terms of yoga. And so gentle reminder as well that really our yoga practice it's not about how much we can pack into a yoga class. A few mindful, not mindful, but mindful yogic practices can make a wonderful impact on our body, mind, day, etc. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to, as always, begin by finding a comfortable sitting position. Sit in a way that you feel the most at ease. So it's challenging for our nervous system to calm down if we're uncomfortable in our bodies. And then as you're ready, an invitation to take your hands to your heart center. So it might be palms open, maybe palms together. And so if this placement of your hands makes you lose your balance, choose another placement for your hands. So we never forfeit balance to come into a pose or a movement. And then as ready, lift your heart to your hands, bow your head to your heart. And an invitation to allow yourself to consciously enter into the present. And setting aside whatever was going on for you before the class, so any concerns, worries, for the duration of the class, knowing that you can come back to that after class. As ready, relax your arms by your side, turn your palms face up, and then an invitation to shake your hands vigorously. And so if shaking your hands vigorously hurts, move a little more gently. And then reaching up to the sky, saying good day to our ancestors. Hello, Kim. And then when you're ready, coming forward a little bit, waving to our ancestors. And so Uncle George, my dog, Bubbles, reaching up one more time, waving to our ancestors. And then just like you're shaking water off your hands, let your arms float down by your side. So an invitation now to, if it is available to you and you would like, to walk your hips forward in the chair. So come forward about 2/3 of the way. If you are needing or you would like the back of the chair for support today, honor that. And so yoga meets us exactly where we are. And so an invitation to soften your gaze. So your gaze might move downwards. Ground down through your sits bones. So maybe notice where your bum and your thighs are in contact with your seat. Our Buddha belly is soft. Spine is long. Roll your shoulders back and down. Lift up through the crown of your head. So you might imagine that you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you up to the sky. Our chin is level with the floor, tucked in slightly. And from here, an invitation to come into a practice of mindful movement. So as you're ready, reach your arm up to the sky. Reaching up as high as feels comfortable for you. And then slowly float your arm down. So gentle movement, same side, reaching up to the sky. Slowly float your arm down. So this time, let's explore adding a gentle breath to the movement. On inhale, reaching up, full length of our inhale. On exhale, float your arm down, the full length of your exhale. So one last time, same side. It's as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Relax both arms down by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you. And then let's begin the practice on the other side. So it's ready, reach your arm up to the sky. Slowly float your arm down. So gentle movement, reaching up. Slowly float your arm down. So linking our breath with our movements. On inhale, reach up, full length of your inhale. On exhale, float your arm down, the full length of your exhale. It's as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I like to think of these gentle movements as a moving meditation. It's ready this time if you'd like, and it's available to you. Reach both arms up to the sky. Take a look between your palms if it doesn't create tension in your neck. Fold your fingers in, press into the palms of your hands. There is a sensitive point, a marma point in the palms of our hands. And together we can shout out, I am.
I am.
And some of you are on mute, just so you know, I can hear you, and that's wonderful. I can. And I will. And with this sigh of relief, So let's just do this one more time. At this time, we'll just reach up as all we're taking that first stretch of the day. And big yawn or a ha sound. And so wiggly fidgets, shake it up again. A little more vigorous this time. Get a little bum dance in there. Okay, so let's repose. So ground down through your feet, centering ground through the soles of your feet. And so we want to keep our connection with Mother Earth. We tend to start losing that. Root down through your sits bones. Maybe notice where your bum and your thighs are in contact with your seat. If you'd like, you can move from side to side, pull the buttock flesh away from your sits bones. Our Buddha belly is soft, spine is long, shoulders back and down. Relax your arms by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you. Lift up through the crown of your head. Imagine that thread on the crown of your head pulling you up to the sky. Our chin is level with the floor, tucked in slightly. Allow your facial muscles to soften and release. Our attention moves inward. Notice your alignment, knees, ankles, hips. Your shoulders are stacked over hips. And then when you're ready, an invitation to bring your awareness without changing anything to your breath. And maybe noticing that as we inhale, things expand. On exhale, things contract. Place your hands in a triangle around your navel center if you'd like. And so on inhale, our belly moves out. On exhale, belly moves in. Keeping one hand on your Buddha belly, bring your other hand to your heart center if you'd like. And maybe noticing the pattern of your breath, the pattern of its movement between your upper torso and your belly. And then see if you can begin to extend your breath. So when we extend our breath, it engages the relaxation response, allowing us to let go of holding, stress, and tension. If you'd like to add a gentle movement, a swaying movement to your breathing exercise, this can be calming for our nervous system as well. And so you might move in a way that's so gentle that if I was to look at you, I might not even notice that you're moving. At any point, if you notice your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, know that that's okay. That's the nature of our mind. Simply bring your awareness back to your breath. And lastly, see if you can add a quality of softness to your breath. So you might imagine that you just tasted something delicious. If you have a fur baby, you might imagine that you're petting your fur kid. And see if you can bring that same softness to areas of your body that you feel are tight or knotted. Our breath is long and smooth and soft as we breathe in and as we breathe out. So just for a few more breaths, or as long as it feels comfortable, an invitation to keep this simple breathing exercise full. And then it's ready, resting your hands on your lap or wherever feels most comfortable for you. Drop your chin towards your chest and gradually blink your eyes. And so notice, did you feel a subtle shift in your energy? And so anytime we practice these wonderful, simple breathing exercises, it acts in a way like a bridge between our body and our mind. So that body-mind connection we hear so much about in yoga. And so from here, I'd like to invite you to keep that lovely breath awareness throughout your practice. So hands resting on our lap, an invitation now to join me in a practice to release the tension in our neck. And so it's ready, bring your chin gently towards your chest. And then turning your gaze up towards maybe where the ceiling meets the wall. So this is a gentle movement. And moving our head up and down. So be careful not to throw your head back. And then as you're ready, bring your head back to neutral. Drop your ear towards your shoulder. And if you'd like, and this is inspired by the students in the class, if you'd like, you can place your hand on the side of your head and create a bit of resistance or not, up to you. And then moving to the other side, pause. Maybe taking your hand up to the other side of your head, create resistance. And release. Turn your gaze, looking just past your shoulder. Pause. And then visualize moving your chin up and down slightly. So imagination is powerful. Turn your gaze back through center and then turn looking just past your opposite shoulder. Pause. Visualize moving your chin up and down slightly. Bring your head back to neutral. And then when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to take your hand across your shoulder. If possible, tuck your fingers into underneath your shirt. Feel around for any lumps or bumps. And if you find a bump, an invitation to hold, put pressure there, and then gently move your neck from side to side, your head. So when you reach the other side, you might move up and down. And then back towards that same shoulder. So we're inviting that big muscle, trapezius muscle, to soften away from our ears. And then it's ready, release. Come to the other side. So if you're blessed with a yoga buddy, the yoga buddy can help with this. So guided by yourself. So putting pressure on any bump you might find, and then gently turn your head from side to side. Inviting a big muscle to soften away from our ears. And then bring your head back to neutral. Take a moment, notice how that felt. We do a little shake up. And so I'd like to do a practice now to let go of the tension in our face. And so we have a lot of facial muscles. And so it's one of the hardest places to let go of tension. And so we're going to make some nasty faces. And so when you're ready, open your mouth wide. And release, relax. Yeah. Open your mouth wide again. And this time I want you to see if you can bring your lips over your teeth, however. And relax. This time, let's draw all our facial muscles towards our nose. Just bit into a lemon. And relax. Okay. So now if it's available to you or you would like, make a soft fist, bring it up to your jaw and create resistance. So we hold a lot of tension in our jaw, and often bringing that in from one day to the next. And then switch sides. So we don't want to create locked jaw. And release. So now if it's available to you and you would like, take your hands. I like to interlace my fingers, place them at the base of your skull. And then press your head gently against your hands. So if you're not able to reach back there and you don't have, not practicing with a yoga buddy today, if you have a headrest, you can gently press your head against your headrest. That might feel good. and then relax. And then lastly, an invitation with a soft fist to take it up to your third eye. So lots of stories about what is the third eye, where is it? So my understanding, and that's all I have really, is that it's the middle of our forehead, not rocket science. Front part of our forehead, if we put gentle pressure here, this can be calming for our nervous system. And release. So an invitation not to take my word for things. Investigate, notice how you feel. And so let's repose. Maybe a little shake out. Woo-hoo. It's yoga time. So I always like to think of yoga as a gift. So of course, India's gift to the West, and of course it's been adapted for Westerners. And so I appreciate very much that gift and all that brought this together today for us to have this lovely practice. And so let's just shoulders back and down again a few times. And so feet are placed evenly on your footrest, your foot plate or floor. Our sits bones are sharp on the chair, spine is long, shoulders back and down. Lift up through the crown of your head. And so from here, I'd like to come into a practice to help release some of the maybe pressure in our lungs. So I'd like, actually, it's a practice to strengthen our lungs. And so with your hands resting on your thighs, and back up a little bit, palms face up. An invitation, breathing in. So on an inhale, take your hands up to your forehead. And then open up your armpits. So stretching our lungs vertically. And then float your hands down, bow your head towards your heart. So we'll do this 3 more times. Inhale. Hands to the forehead, open up your armpits. Lots of lymph nodes in our armpits. And on exhale, float your arms down. As you're ready, inhale, take your hands up to your forehead, open up your armpits. And release. And so as you're ready, palm face up, an invitation to take your arm up and out to the side. Maybe gazing past your middle finger if that doesn't create tension in your neck. And then float your hand down. And so other side, spiral your palm open on inhale, reaching up to the sky. Palm face down. Both arms by your side, spiral your palms open, reaching up to the sky. And float your arms down. So shake out again. Woo-hoo. And so let's move down the spine. And so one of the ideas that was presented in a teacher training I did with Matthew Sanford in Minneapolis was that there are 4 sensations we want to experience in our yoga practice. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with Matthew Sanford, I really encourage you to check him out. He is a yoga teacher. He also has a spinal cord injury, era, and has a best-selling book called Waking, I think. Anyway, you can Google him if you're interested. He's awesome. But so the 4 sensations. So expansion. So getting bigger in space, we tend to shrink. A second sensation would be grounding. So he would say that you have to go down to go up. So grounding, expansion. So if you want to mirror some of these movements, that's fine. And just visualize or listen. The other that I absolutely love is rhythm. So we all have our own sense of rhythm, and that tends to diminish as we get older. So we want to keep our sense of rhythm. And then lastly, balance. And so the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. And so worth repeating, the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. And so, and from there, let's move down the spine. And so let's come into a practice called cat and cow. So if possible, bring your feet a little wider than outer hip bone distance. Have your knees so that they're tracking over your ankles. It's okay to have your toes turned outward. Draw your hands in towards your hip. Lift your heart, your solar plexus. On an exhale, round your back. As you round your back, hands slide towards our knees, in towards our spine. On inhale, arch, slide your hands towards your hip creases. Arch your back so our spine looks like a smile. On exhale, round your back. As you round your back, draw your belly in towards your spine. And so an invitation in your own time and rhythm to keep this gentle warm up for our spine flowing. And so move in a way that feels natural for you. So natural that your movement and your breath become one. And so again, if you have a yoga buddy, so we inhale, maybe your yoga buddy places your hands on your shoulders. On the exhale, placing our hands on our partner's belly can give us that sensory drawing belly in towards the spine on the exhale. So finish up the movement that you're on. Come on back to a neutral spine. And bring your feet back so that your knees are about hip distance apart again. So a little cue for that might be too soft. And notice how's your breath. Notice any subtle sensations. So trust that the sensations are there. It's not going to be a rocket ship across the sky. And so from here, an invitation to release your arms by your side and then reaching towards the earth or the floor. You're indoors. So holding on to the underside of the chair for stability. And it can be interesting to practice these movements with our eyes closed. So you might inhale to one side, exhale to the other side. And if it works for you, maybe imagine that you're between two panes of glass. So shoulders stacked over shoulder. And slowly come on back to a neutral spine. Relax your hands on your lap, palm face up or down as desired. And notice how's your breath. Notice any subtle sensations. So from here, let's come into a gentle twist. So alternating, sliding our hands naturally. We twist from side to side. So we are not going to our full range of motion here. See if you can resist the temptation to move your head to its full range of motion. So is your belly soft? Is your breath quiet? And slowly come on back to neutral spine. And take a moment. So from here, I'd like to invite you, taking hold of the underside of your chair, wherever you can reach comfortably. You're going to come into a seated forward fold. However, that said, forward folds are contraindicated if you have spinal conditions such as osteopenia, osteoarthritis, bulging disc. Or you might have some other spinal condition that makes it contraindicated for you to come into forward fold deeply. So I really want to encourage you to practice ahimsa. So ahimsa is the Sanskrit word that means non-harming. So body, mind, and spirit. So you are the expert on your own body, and I will do my best to guide you. And so to my knowledge, it is safe for most people to sitting up nice and tall, lengthen the spine, holding the underside of the chair to come forward about 20%. If you don't have a spinal condition that contraindicates, then you might want to come forward a little more. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck, and then breathe into your lower back. Or you might imagine that your lungs are in your lower back. And slowly make your way back to a neutral spine. So you press down through your inner heels. So it might be an energetic pushing down. One knee, one hand on each of your thigh. Come on back. So I just want to keep an eye on the time. So moving on, let's repose. So your spine is long, push down through one foot and then push down through the opposite foot. So again, this might be an energetic pushing down. Notice, can you feel one hip more than the other? And then when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to tap your fingers. So micro movements, visualizing the movements, focusing on what we can do. And maybe reverse the direction, so it might be pinkies to thumbs, air piano. So we're getting that synovial fluid, Mother Nature's WD-40 flowing into all the little joints in our hands. Bring your palms face up and then take your fingertips to your thumbs. So they might touch, they might not. And then stretch. Fingertips to our thumbs. Stretch. Fingertips to our thumbs. Stretch. When you're ready, relax your hands on your lap and then circle your wrist in one direction. Circle in the opposite direction. And then switch sides. Circle. So if you're a wheelchair user, this might feel amazing. Help strengthen those days where you're moving around to wheel. And then when you're ready, arms by your side, palms face up, take your hands to your shoulders. So you can practice one shoulder at a time, or if you'd like, joining me with hands on both shoulders. So circle your elbow points. So actually, let's imagine that we're drawing circles on the iPad or the screen in front of you. See if you can create that lovely little Buddha smile. It's a little half smile. When we smile, it's contagious. What can I say? It also creates saliva, which is really great if you happen to have a dry mouth. And then reverse the direction. Take a pause, a rest anytime you'd like. Come out of the pose or the movement. Come back in or not. And then float your arms down. Whew. And feel your work. We'll shake up. And so let's come into a movement where we're sitting comfortably, effortlessly upright. Reach your arm up. So in line with your shoulder, if that feels okay. Alternatively, it might feel better to lower your arm a bit. Turn your palm face up. With a soft bend in your elbow, extend your arm away from you. On inhale, let's meet back at center. Palm face down, release. So other side, reaching up, turn your palm face up, moving with grace and ease, extend your arm away from you. On inhale, we'll meet back at center, palm face down, release. So this time I'd like to invite you, if it's okay, if it doesn't create tension in your neck, when we turn our arm, bring our arm to the side, turn your gaze looking past your middle finger. And I'd also like to ask you to explore adding a sound to the movement. So the sound could be shh. And so I'm told that the sound shh can help with spasms. And so anything that calms and balances the nervous system. Right? So I have an intention tremor. Currently I'm aging. It's not life-threatening. Be a little annoying sometimes or frustrating. So this movement helps. And sound. So reaching up, turn your palm face up. So if your neck is tight, gaze forward softly or bring your arm to the side. Gaze and past your middle finger, making a shh sound. On inhale, come back center, palm face down. Release. So other side, reach up to your place, so as high as you'd like. Turn your palm face up. Exhale, shh. On inhale, come back center, palm face down, release. So let's practice this one more time on each side. Reach up, spiral your palm open, exhale, shh. On inhale, come back center, palm face down, release. Last time, reaching up, spiral your palm open, exhale, shh. On inhale, we'll meet back at center, palm face down, release. Relax your arms by your side. Rest your hands on your lap or wherever feels most comfortable for you. And take a moment to let your belly soften. Your breath is quiet. So I'm curious if you can hear the birds tweeting in the background here. You can? Cool. There's lots of them. And you might hear Charlie. I'm going to take a rest here. His name is Charlie the Clock. He's a rooster. Anyway. Wiggly fidget. Woohoo! All right. So let's repose. Make sure your feet or on the earth. So ground through your feet, centering ground through the soles of your feet. So we want to keep our connection with Mother Earth. We tend to start losing that. Root down through your sits bones. Maybe notice where your bum and your thighs are in contact with your seat. Do a little bum dance. Our Buddha belly is soft. So Buddha belly is the area between our navel and our pubic bone. Soft Buddha belly, not an easy place to get to. Lengthen up through your spine. Shoulders are back and down. Lift up through the crown of your head. So imagine that thread on top of your head pulling you up to the sky. Chin is level with the ground or floor. You might take 2 fingers to your chin. Imagine a turtle. So tucked in slightly. And so mountain pose, seated. Soft Buddha belly, quiet breath. And release. And so arms by your side. This time I'd like to invite you to come into mountain pose, seated with your palms facing forward. So ground through your feet, sits bone sharp on the chair. Gazing on the horizon, not on the floor. Mountain pose. And release. So let's practice one more version. And so arms by our side, palms face up, reach up to the sky. So reaching your arms up as high as feels comfortable for you. Take a look between your palms. If it doesn't create tension in your neck, notice if they're facing each other. Then return your gaze on the horizon. So it is not about forcing one limb to do what the other is doing. We just want them talking to each other. Ground through your feet, center ground through the soles of your feet. Pick up your toes if possible. Create space between your toes and press them back down. And release. And take a rest. Feel your work. So moving on, let's come into a movement to help release some of the tension in our lower back and our hips. And so most of us sit a lot, understatement, I think. And so invitation to take your hands in towards into your hips. So if you have pain in your hands, if it doesn't feel good to have open palms, you can make soft fists. If you know balance is a challenge for you, please have whatever device you need to keep you stable in your chair. And so let's begin. So we're sitting up tall, and then we'll circle our heart forward, and then circle back. So this movement can feel a little strange if you're not accustomed to it. So I encourage you to move with your breath. When we link our breath with our movements, magical things. And as you begin to feel your lower back and your hips soften and release, see if you can go a little bit deeper. So bringing our shoulders towards our knees. Of course, we're not going to come all the way down. Remember your little Buddha smile. Smile when you're happy or not. And then as ready, move in the opposite direction. I sometimes call this stirring the pot. So bring a gentle awareness to the space in front of you. And bring your awareness to the space beside you. Notice how that makes you feel. Bring your awareness to the space above you. And especially to the space behind you. An invitation to trust that you are being supported. And so I like to think in terms of we. And then slowly as ready, make your way back to a neutral spine. Walk your feet back if they were wider than outer hip bone distance. Relax your arms by your side or on your lap, wherever feels most comfortable for you. And take a moment to notice how you feel. So it is not about the shapes we make in our yoga practice, not about what we look like. The diagnostic tools, how do I feel? No judgment. Yoga meets us exactly where we are. And so moving on, let's pick it up and out again a little. Okay. And so I think it's time for a yoga swim. Okay. Here we go. So I know I'm singing to the choir when I say motion is lotion. You need to keep moving, but moving in ways that feel good. And so we all have our own sense of rhythm. So maybe moving into a backstroke. How about breaststroke? Side stroke. Butterfly. And then slowly your arms float down by your side. Rest your hands on your lap. Notice how you feel. Notice any subtle sensations. And so let's come into a side bend. And so the movements of the spine. So of course we know our spine matters. So an invitation to take hold of the underside of your chair. Release your opposite arm by your side. Turn your palm face up. And so actually I'm going to share three positions, arm positions if you'd like. And so I want you to think of this as a buffet. So you choose whatever works best for you. And so position number one, if you have shoulder stuff going on, it might feel good to rest your hand on your shoulder. Alternatively, it might feel okay to reach up and over. So up and over, maybe our hand on our shoulder. And the third would be to have your hand on your hip. And so today I'm going to choose to have my hand on my shoulder. And so whatever your position of your arm is, I'd like to invite you to turn your gaze looking down towards the earth. Floor to release your neck and then come into your side bend. So you're holding the underside of the chair. Or if you're a wheelchair user, you might have your forearm on your armrest. Maybe you have a chair beside you that you can rest your hand on. And breathe into your rib cage. And slowly come out of the pose on this side. So whatever we do on one side, we do on the other if possible. And so I'm not sure if some of you are actually sitting down on the ground or not. if you are, you might want to just slowly come up with our arm. Right. First of all, do share this piece. So hand on the shoulder, maybe on the hip, maybe coming up and over. So your opposite hand, you could be holding onto your wheel or your chair. Maybe if you're on the ground, you can place your hand on the ground. So turn your gaze down towards the floor and then breathe into your rib cage. Can you imagine breathing in below your rib cage? And slowly come out of the pose. Float both arms down and take a rest. Notice any subtle sensations. How's your breath? All right, so let's come into a seated twist here. And so for this, if possible, bring your feet so that your knees are a little wider than outer hip bone distance. I'll turn my iPad down just a wee bit. Hopefully that's helpful. Plants behind me. Maybe I can move this away. Sorry. Work in progress always. Don't think I'm ever going to arrive anywhere. Okay, so feet a little wider than outer hip bone distance. And so what this does, if possible, if we're able to bring our knees a little wider, is it creates space for our Buddha belly. And so knees are tracking over ankles. Okay to have your toes turned out a little. When you're ready, lengthen your spine so we can create space between our vertebrae. And then reach across to the outside of your knee or thigh. Your other hand comes beside you on the chair behind you. And so you'll notice we're already into the pose here. So if it's not contraindicated, so the same spinal conditions I mentioned earlier, it is contraindicated to go into a deep twist. So if this feels okay for you, this would be your twist today. Otherwise, you will inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, beginning at the base of your spine, coming up one vertebrae at a time, going into your twist a little deeper. So our head turns last. See if you can resist the temptation to move your head to its full range of motion. Maybe you can notice how it feels to untwist your head a little bit, your neck. Soft Buddha belly, quiet breath. And slowly unwind. Take a moment. And we'll come into the twist on the other side. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. So this might be your pose today, or you might feel it's okay to go a little deeper. So always inhale and then going into your twist a little deeper. Eyes are closed softly, focused inward. And unwind. So let's rock and roll. We're going to move in and out of the twist. Oh, I was exposed a bit here. And so always move into your twist on an exhale. Ready, come on back to neutral spine, do a little shake out, and then we'll come into a seated forward fold. So side bends, twist, pretty intense spinal movement, so we need to realign our spine. And so you could take hold of the underside of your chair, wherever you need to feel stable and balanced. Sitting up tall, leading with the heart, not the head. Come forward a little. So this might be your forward fold today. If it's not contraindicated, it might feel okay to rest your forearms on your lap. And so whatever your pose is, I'd like to invite you to nod yes and no. Let your head hang slightly to relax your neck. And breathe into your lower back. And so notice how this position makes you feel. And then slowly as ready, come on back up. So push down through your inner heel. So it might be an energetic pushing down. One hand on each of your thigh. Come on back. And so I think that from here we'll come into pranayama practice, so breathing exercise. And then from there, transition into your final relaxation with the meditation. And so come seated comfortably back in your chair. Or wherever you are, find a comfortable sitting position. And then hands resting, palms face up or down as desired. Eyes are closed softly, focused inward. And so the breathing exercise I'd like to share with you is bumblebee breath. And so this is a classical yogic breathing exercise. So bumblebee breath is a humming sound. And you do it in your own time and rhythm. And so it begins with an inhale through our nose unless we're congested. And making a humming sound. So you might hum the letter M. M. And so in your own time and rhythm, if you like, keeping this simple breathing exercise going. And let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. Notice if you felt a subtle shift in your energy. And from here, we'll come into our final relaxation. So just want to make sure I'm keeping an eye on time here. And so roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Close your eyes softly, focused inward, or soften your gaze. So our hands rest, palms face up or down as desired. So soft palms, soft Buddha belly, the area between our navel and our pubic bone. Quiet breath. Allow your breath to reflect the pose. Serenity pose. Relax your jaw. Unclench your teeth. Let there be a little space between your teeth. Soften your lower jaw. Soften around your temples. Soften the area between your eyebrows, wide forehead. Silently, if you'd like, on inhale, saying let. On exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. It's challenging to quiet the mind. Placing our hands on our Buddha belly and bringing our awareness to our breath can be helpful. Without changing anything, bring your awareness back to your breath. Thank your body. Thank your body again. And now see if you can begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. Wiggle your fingers and toes, hands and feet, waking up. You're welcome, Donna. And come on up, seated comfortably to finish up your yoga practice. Thank you. And so maybe bring, if you set an intention at the beginning of the class, bring it back to mind. And then let it go. And so thank you to Kasar, my wonderful tech host, ConnecTogether, the Disability Foundation, for providing this opportunity for us to practice yoga together online. Couldn't happen without all this wonderful work that goes on in the background. So thank you, thank you. And so the teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in each of you. Oh, peace, peace, peace. And I'm totally happy to hang for a few moments if you want to have a conversation.
Nice to see you. Thanks, Bobbie. ConnecTogether.
Thank you, Bobbie. Thank you, ConnecTogether.
Hey, Josie, Kim, thank you.
Thank you, Bobbie, for continuing to offer these through ConnecTogether. It's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
I guess I did my job. Now I'm going to do my other job and scoop some ice cream for the kids down at the pier. Hi, Mercedes.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Bye, everybody.
It's good to be in your backyard again.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Bobbie, and thank you, ConnecTogether. It's great to have every Wednesday
Love
yoga.
you.
Thank you.
To anybody and everybody that you know for me. Old friends. I'll see you. Thanks, Kasar.
You,
And
see you next week.
I'll be here.
Yeah. Bye.